Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Noman Kesser. I'm an advocate by profession practicing in Pakistan. Today, I am going to talk about a very important event that has taken place in the world recently. This pertains to a killing of a teacher in France by a Muslim father who was aggrieved of that teacher showing the caricatures of our beloved Prophet Hazrat Muhammad, peace be upon him, to his students. That student told his father, and the father consequently killed that teacher. No, I'm not here to talk about whether that teacher should have taken the law into his own hands or not. That, the French law will take care of that. But my concern pertains to the reaction of the French president in the aftermath of this killing. He actually persisted that this comes within the ambit of the freedom of expression to show the caricatures of any religious personality, no matter how beloved and respectful that might be to any particular religious community. Now, this is where I have a problem. If you say this freedom of expression and speech is unqualified and absolute, then what about the restrictions on the Holocaust denial? In almost all the European countries and Israel, Holocaust denial is a crime, is an actionable crime. Why is it a crime then? I mean, if the freedom of expression is unqualified and does not carry any restrictions, that this Holocaust denial should be allowed. I should be free to deny the Holocaust denial. I should be free to say that this Holocaust does not exist. It did not happen. Or for that matter, the number of 6 million Jews killed by the Nazi Germany is not the case. These numbers are less than 6 million. If I happen to be in a European country and Israel and deny the Holocaust, then I'll end up in a jail. Why these double standards then? Hazrat Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the most respected personality in the religion of Islam. He brought this religion of peace to this earth. Well, there might be certain terrorists and extremists who are maligning and misusing the name of Islam, but that is not Islam. Islam is a religion of peace. Well, another example, the Turkish president, he has actually declared the French president that he needs to show to a psychologist. There is something wrong with his head. And as a reaction, France called his ambassador from Turkey back to his country. Isn't it a double standard? The Turkish president also used this freedom of expression to actually call the French president a mental case. Something wrong with the head. If that is the case, then the French should not have called the ambassador back, because Tayyip Erdogan, the Turkish president, he is using his right to freedom of expression. If this right is so unfettered, then the Turkish president has a right to call the French president a mental case. Well, freedom of expression and all other freedoms, they are not unqualified and absolute. My freedom of expression, my right to do anything ends where the nose of the other people start, where the freedoms of the other people start. I can easily say that, these are my hands, this is my weapon. I can use it to kill anyone. This is my freedom of expression. But does this freedom of expression give me unfettered right to kill anyone? No. That is why we have the municipal laws which actually regulate the human behavior. So this is the regulation, this is the qualification by law of my right to freedom of expression and my right to do whatever I feel like doing. So we have to understand this freedom of expression, the concept of freedom of expression in this context. But this is not unfettered. It is qualified by the restrictions pertaining to the national interest, public interest, defense of any country, obscenity, defamation. Well, these things are not allowed. Obscenity and defamation is not allowed on the pretext of having a freedom of expression. This is a universal law applicable in all the civilized nations of the world. There is a huge hue and cry and protest in the Muslim world Pakistani parliament has actually called the Pakistani government to call its ambassador back from France. There are huge protests in Saudi Arabia, UAE, Jordan, and other countries. There is this there is this clamor and call for boycotting the French products. I just fail to understand, why is this bigotry there in the Western world? Why is this double standard there in the Western world? Well, you respect our religious personalities, we'll respect your religious personalities, but the interesting part is your religious personalities, like the Jesus and Moses, they are very dear to us as well. And we, being Muslims, are not going to retaliate in any case. So let's build this brotherhood between different nations of this world. I call upon the United Nations and the Organization of Islamic Countries to actually come forward and build a consensus among different nations and deny this unfettered right to freedom of expression. Thank you very much.